This episode of the Red and White Podcast is brought to you by Nick Overcash at Prime Lending. If you're in the market for a new home, building a home and need a construction loan, or just refinancing, do yourself a favor and reach out to Nick. If you're just now starting to think about your options, talk to Nick. He's got the experience to get you the best solution for your situation. Everybody's situation is unique, and you need that experience. He's a Pack fan, and we have to support our own. And speaking of, if you mention this podcast, he'll support you by offering you $500 off your closing costs. That's a win for you. That's a win for Nick. That's a win for the podcast. So check out nickovercash.com or call him at 919-854-4457. You can ask him financial questions or just talk to him about Wolfpack football. Either way, he'll be just as happy to talk to you. All right, folks, we're back with another edition of the Red and White Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Evan, here with my co-host, Dustin. Dustin, I have no idea what to talk about this week. You want to give us a basketball update?
Yeah, it's a combo of us not having really anything going on sports-wise and also us not preparing. We've only really had one game since last week, and that was against the Kangaroos. 88-69, a little closer than I would have liked, but that's going to happen every once in a while. So, still trucking along. They're 8-2 now. So,
yeah. Again, I watched that game just like the other games. I just like what I see from this team, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens when ACC season comes around. I think the competition level is going to go escalating higher, obviously, but I just like the way this team plays. I like what they do, and they play with the energy and the defense, and I don't know. It's fun to watch. We've said it like 100 times. That's about all we can kind of analyze at this point. I don't think you can take anything else out of it, and it is what it is until we get into ACC play. When is ACC play?
December 30th we play Clemson at Clemson. That's the first game.
Okay.
And then we have at Notre Dame, home against Duke, and Clemson again. Then at Virginia. So a nice little stretch there. 3 of 5 games against ranked teams.
Yeah.
So we'll really know something then, I guess.
How about, did Duke just lose to Boston College?
Yeah, they did. Boston College. I saw some crazy stat. I don't remember what it was, but it went over their horrible record, Boston College, in the past 4 or 5 years, but they're 3-0 against AP number ones during that span too. So
that's crazy. For those who picked up on the last few weeks, we've been trying different things with our recordings. We're trying to get it better. I know this week we actually have some internet issues between the two of us, so if there's any lagging or delays, I apologize. Not much we can do about that at this point.
I try and fix that, but
yeah. There's one piece of news that just came across the wire, aka the Twitters. Inside Pack Sports put a story out that the Case Commons project is not being completed. So that was the residence hall for basketball. I think, as you said, that was a Godfrey project, I believe. But it says, the quote from the article is, the Case Commons residence hall project was conceived with the overarching objective of providing greater security for our student athletes from agent activity and other negative influences. Regrettably, during the planning process, a variety of factors have escalated construction and labor costs, making it unfeasible to complete this project with the approved budget. Debbie Al added, "For this reason, we've made the fiscally responsible decision to not proceed with this project." So essentially, Bitcoin price got too high, and now we can't have a basketball dorm. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, I think like you said, that was a Gottfried thing, and I think there was taking some heat from people saying that there's kids other than athletes that are going to live in it, but it's designed for athletes, and that's a benefit, and it was a bunch of trash. I mean, if this was Kentucky, that would have been done 5 years ago. So, it is, whatever. I don't really care, but it would have been a nice recruiting tool, though.
Yeah, they'll figure something else out. Maybe something closer to on campus, closer to the basketball practice facility, or in between Reynolds or something. I'm sure they'll do something else. Maybe just not this. But that was interesting. Just came across. Credit to Inside Pack Sports again. I haven't seen that anywhere else. All right, so this week, since we don't really have football to talk about, we kind of beat that horse last week. And, basketball is what it is until we get out of this awful schedule. We took some questions from the Twitter world, so we'll go ahead and jump into some of those. The first one from Tucker Blankenship. Shoot my idea down or not. My ideal eventual hope for structure for the college football playoff. Now, this is a lot to digest, so bear with me if I screw this up. 12 teams, Power 5 champs, top G5, Group of 5 champ, 6 at-larges, top 4 Power 5 champs get buys as top seeds. Games rotate through all New Year's 6 bowls. 2 sites get round 1, quarterfinal, semifinal. 2 sites get round quarterfinal. I don't know what that is. Overall bowl system intact. My initial thought is, holy crap, that is way too much. I think that's, if anything, 6 teams will be where I'd like to see it. I think the dilution of the regular season is something I'd like to avoid at all possible. I really enjoy the college football regular season. I think that's, a 12-game playoff almost. It kind of eliminates all the non-contenders. The one thing I did see that's kind of related to this, and I think it was Bruce Feldman put it out there. Somebody asked him, how do you improve the exposure for a group of 5 teams? You're somebody like UCF or Colorado State. They're all having good seasons. How do you kind of reward them? And he said put a group of 5 playoff. And you do it right now, kind of before the big bowl games start. You can still use the bowl games. You just make it, a playoff. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. Why not? I'd love to see, somebody like UCF. I like to see them play Auburn, but I would be curious if other Group of 5 schools like that idea. Like, do they want a playoff, or they want their shot at the college football playoff? What do you think? That was a lot to digest.
Okay, going back to the first part of it.
Yeah,
I like the playoff at 4.
Yes.
I think if you bump it to 8, then you're going to have a pretty much automatic bid every year for your perennial powers. And then the last spot, it'll be the same deal that we're in now with, we should have been in, or they should have been, blah, blah, blah. I think at 4, there's a lot of excitement going into the selection because some of those powers that are always there are going to be left out. I think it makes it matter a little more to go steal something from the SEC.
Right.
Also, that was a lot to digest, and I'm pretty sure that typical SEC fans wouldn't be able to understand that, so it's not going to fly. What was the second part of it?
Not Tennessee fans. They're more sophisticated. The Group of 5 playoff.
Tennessee fans would change the playoff system themselves if they wanted to. So, the Group of 5, I mean, that's cool. I think they should take something like that because they're never going to make the playoff. It's just not going to happen. An undefeated UCF is not going to get in over a 2-loss, ACC or SEC team. It's just not going to happen.
Not unless they schedule 3, tough out-of-conference games and win them. Playing like Kansas and yeah. I thought it was interesting. Thanks for the question, Tucker. Next question from James Cunningham. Is the 2018 recruiting class better than the 2013? James, then, there's a difference, brother. Sorry, I had to. I see it all the time. I don't know. The 2013 class, there's a lot of players. I think you pull up the rankings. What was that class ranked?
They were tied for 47th. So not great. There ended up being some good players out of there, but not not anything crazy, I guess. Trying to get it to work. Let's see. What we got? Matt Days was in that class.
Yeah.
Braylon Cherry, Chocho was in that class. I mean, nothing I would say Days ended up being the star. I don't. It's hard to ask that question now. Ask us when this incoming class is on year 4, and then we can really give you a solid answer.
I think he might have meant the 2014 class, which is Doran's first real class. The 2013 class was his transition class, if I recall, because Days was committed to O'Brien, and then Des saved him, etc. I still think. Sense, yeah, that's why I just thought of that as you were reading that off. I think that's what he meant, the 2014 class, which was strong. I mean, but you don't expect guys like Chubb. He was a 3-star coming out, and just some of the other guys that had played well and contributed a long time. I don't know. I think this 2018 class has the potential to be a much better class, and I think a much better class. If you look, it's very top-heavy because you have Ricky Pearson, who's arguably one of the best backs in the country, or the best back in the country. He's killing it at combines. Devin Leary, the quarterback, he just got State Player of the Year, won another second Gatorade Player of the Year award. I mean, he's again a gem of a find. And they got Tanner Ingold, decommitted from Tennessee. I think he's SEC caliber defensive back. Sure could play here, that's for sure. And then the kid that I guess the next one on the radar that I expect will commit is Tayon Palmer. I can't pronounce his name. He decommitted from Duke. He's another 4-star corner, and we've been all over him. The coaches have been, they watch who the coaches are watching. They started following him on Twitter, so that's a pretty good sign when things like that happen. Peyton Wilson, linebacker decommit from Carolina. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this class. If things drop the way they, the way they should, or the way they look on paper, I think this class will be better. But like you said, 4 years from now is the only time we'll be able to answer that question.
Yeah, I'm not one to. Stars coming out of high school are great, but there's a big difference in high school play and college play. So there's a lot of factors that decide whether a player's good or not, and we'll see.
Right. I think if you're just comparing, paper, then this class is better. It's ranked higher. There's still room to fill. So they're 22 now in Rivals, and with 3 or 4 more spots to fill, a couple 4-stars out there. I mean, this class could be in the top 20, and that's that just says more about the program than it does anything. I think everybody should just pay attention to that's still continuing that positive direction, that positive momentum. So it's all good. Speaking of football, what should be the expectation for state football and Dave Doeren next season, assuming Ryan Finley comes back? What you got?
I think this kind of year needs to be the new standard, because this can't be the best that we can do, if that makes any sense. So,
right
there again, it's always been, well, let's wait till he gets his players for 4 years, 5 years, whatever. Once he gets to that point, then it's supposed to be program level strength, not a 1-year type of thing. They're going to lose some players, but they need to be an 8-win team every year now as the base, and then the chance to climb from there, I think.
I think that's right. That's my overall vision for the state football program in general is an 8-win team every year. Like that's reasonable to be an 8-win team. And then every once in a while, when the stars align and things fall in your way, you win that 9-10 games. You compete for the division and the ACC and those things. I don't think that's unreasonable for us. That's the next step for the football program. That's the next step before you become Clemson. Yeah. Because Clemson was right here too at one point, right? They were good in the 80s. They were not good after that. And then they were an 8-win team for a long time. And then they elevated to the next level. And now they can see how long they can stay there. But I think NC State can get into that 8-win. They can stay at that 8-win plateau every year, and then jump up every once in a while. I mean, I think that's a damn good football program, in my opinion. The schedule next year is JMU at home, Georgia State at home, West Virginia at home, and then at Marshall. Those are our non-conference games. All winnable games. JMU is the one probably scares me the most.
Yeah, they're very well coached, man.
I don't know how much they're losing, but man, yeah, that guy can get it done. And then on the road at Marshall will be interesting. They lose a bunch of guys this year, so that might hurt them. ACC games, home against Boston College, home against Florida State, home against Wake Forest, and home against Virginia. None of those games scare me, other than Boston College, just because it's Boston College, for God's sakes. And then road at Clemson, at Louisville, at Syracuse, at Carolina. I mean, there's got to be 8 wins in there, I would think.
Carolina should be a lot better next year. But
yeah,
that's the thing that this year, I mean, this is his per shut-up year, and that's set a standard now. So this has to be the norm. Below this has to be a rarity from here on out to earn his extension that he finagled his way into.
Yes. Greg, I say ask us that question in maybe February again, because then we'll know who's staying, who's going, those sorts of things. I think that NFL deadline is somewhere in the end of January. So ask us that question again. I think it might change the conversation. It'll be interesting to see who leaves from these other schools as well. You know, everybody assumes Lamar Jackson's gone. You know, that's for sure. So that might hurt Louisville, and you never know who Clemson could lose. They could lose a whole team and still be good. So a lot of unknowns at this point, but I would say, like we said, 8 wins should be the 8 wins every year should be our goal. And if you win more than that, fantastic. Hokey Smash, friend of the program. When does Seth Greenberg leave ESPN for a coaching job, and where?
When they lay
I have
him
no
off.
idea. Yeah, exactly. When he's one of the next 100 that gets fired. I don't think anybody's beating down Seth Greenberg's door for a coaching job. I mean, he's fine, but if Mark Godfrey can get an ECU job, I don't know. Did he get the ECU job? They're still working on that. They were talking about Mark Godfrey for the ECU job, and nobody's mentioned Seth Greenberg. I don't know.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, I think he should stay in the booth.
You know, I would have said that about Herm Edwards too, though. So what do I know? Obviously nothing.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, that might be my favorite storyline for the next couple of years, is just watching that train wreck.
Oh, they're going to be
We went
terrible,
over this
man.
last week, but it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. Dr. Biscuit Fan. Nice name. Thoughts on hoops so far. Predictions for ACC play. Expectations for Kevin Keats' first season. And then I'll get to your second part after this one. Go ahead. Well, we already talked about it a little bit, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's probably unrealistic to expect a 500 record in the ACC. I think that they'll be close to that, but they're going to win some games they shouldn't, and they're going to lose some games that they shouldn't too. So
Right.
I think this year is just kind of a stabilize the ship kind of thing. Recruit, put some. I would say the biggest thing to take out of this year is not even a record, but an identity, and we're already seeing that a little bit. Tough, hard-nosed defense, fast-paced offense. Let the program be known for that, and then go out and find the players that want to play in that. And I think that's the best thing that can come out of this year.
Yeah, I think that's right. This shooting is going to be what makes or breaks this team, right? They're going to have some hot nights and they'll win some games. I don't think they'll lose any games because of effort or, poor coaching. I just, we've seen that kind of thing before. I'd be shocked if we have another, if we have one of those games under Kevin Keats, or more than one of those games. I mean, that might happen because you have a bunch of, Newsom and all that stuff, but it's really, that's probably what I'm looking for the most is, do they play hard every game? Do they compete? Do they do all the things that, they should do and not just slug their way through a game? That should be everybody's expectation, I would think. Second part of his question, since we're not drinking Duplin wine anymore, top 5 NC beers or wines or spirits. This is right in your domain. What do you got?
Well, I got to give a shout out to Gizmo in Raleigh for beer.
Oh, so that's so good. It is.
Them, I really like Big Boss in Raleigh as well. It doesn't get as much credit as it should. Everybody loves Lone Rider, but I'm not a huge fan of Lone Rider. Wine, Woodmill Winery. It's in Vail in the western part of the state. Makes most of the things that Duplin does, but not as 21-year-old girlish, I guess.
Hate-filled?
Say what?
I said hate-filled.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing.
But they make a good muscadine if you need a replacement for that. They also make some good blackberry wines and stuff. I like Old Hickory Brewery, but that's kind of I grew up drinking there, so it takes a while. Yeah. Spirits, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a carriage house or something. It's in Caldwell County that makes a super apple brandy that's really good. I guess that's 5. There's a lot of stuff around here. We don't need them. That's the point.
There is. I always come back to the statistic that North Carolina has the highest amount of microbrews per capita, or second highest amount outside of Colorado. I was like, damn, that's insane. I mean, there's hundreds of microbrews. There's so many good beers here. I think there's Deep River. They make some really good beer. It's a little bit farther south towards Sanford. The guys who make the Steak and Cake Ale out in, I don't know if that's Fuquay or somewhere out in that way. There's just so many good beers around here. I'd love to anybody send us some recommendations if they have a favorite, but
or just send us the beer. It doesn't even have to be a recommendation. I mean,
even better. Send
us the beer.
That's right. If you're a brewery and you want to send us a beer, we'll review it on air.
I did look.
The podcast will only get better.
It is Carriage House Distillery in Caldwell County that makes that apple brandy. You can find it at any of the little local sections at any of the ABC stores. And also, don't just think about the companies. They're hardworking men making tax-free money, making solid liquors, like in Wilkesboro and up toward that area. So give them a shout, too.
That's definitely your domain. News River Brewing is one I was thinking of. Trophy Brewing. I really like Trophy beers, and their pizza downtown is really good too. There's just so many options. It's awesome. Send us any recommendations and any beers you want to. All right. What's the next question here? All right. I'm not going to lie, Jim. I had to look this one up. Jim Gillen, best John Hughes movie. And for those who don't know, John Hughes is the director of Uncle Buck, She's Having a Baby, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, and 16 Candles. What's your pick on those? I don't even know if you were born when half of those came out.
I was born. I was born in '85, so these were playing while I was in the playpen and stuff. I like Uncle Buck pretty good. Everybody's gonna say Ferris Bueller. Weird Science might be up there too. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Yeah, I could you for an Uncle Buck. I think that's right up your alley. Yeah. I would go Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, man. I love that movie. It's a great Christmas
I don't think I've ever
too.
seen that.
Oh, John Candy and Steve Martin. That's a really good movie. It's funny. Good question. That was interesting. Who we got? Oh, this is the 2013 recruiting class. All right, this might be the shortest podcast we've ever done. I don't really have anything else.
Do you want to do bowls?
Oh, yeah, bowls.
Let's take a break and then we'll come back and do bowls.
There you go.
Picture this. Your buddy's a Falcons fan. You're a Panthers fan. You go to trashtalktext.com, and once a day, for 2 weeks, at a random time, he gets a text reminding him the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. That's quality entertainment. Check out trashtalktext.com and send your friends anonymous trash talk about their favorite team. As always, if you're interested in learning more about sponsoring the podcast or our sponsors themselves, check out redandwhitepodcast.com/sponsors.
All right, we're back, and let's get some bowls. Dustin, throw them at me. Give me what you got, and I'll give you the winner. This is your money picks for the bowls. And before you do that, if anybody wants to join a bowl pool, $10 bowl pool, hit me up, and I'll send you an invite.
Illegal. Speaking of pools and money, kind of going back to basketball, this is totally random, but we play Greensboro next. Don't be surprised if that game's a little closer than you expected, because Greensboro's last 5 games, they are 4-0-1 against the spread. There's your Vegas tidbit of the day.
Ooh, sneaky. Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know the spread, but 4-0-1 is pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, bowls. December 16th, we have 5 bowls. All quality games, of course. The New Orleans Bowl, Troy versus North Texas.
I'm going North Texas, the Mean Green. I know Troy's probably the favorite there. Heavy money on Troy, but the former Carolina offensive coordinator, Seth Luttrell, is doing things at North Texas. Give me North Texas Mean Green.
North Texas went like 0-11 every year.
They did. In true story, when we were playing NCAA on Xbox, we got bored of picking the Power 5 teams, so we picked like the Fun Belt or whatever the North Texas Conference is. North Texas was my team. They were awful. It was really hard.
Did you take them at the top?
We eventually gave up, but we got somewhere in like you could go after the 5 stars that decommit from everywhere else and like the busts. So that's how that was the secret trick to NCAA 14.
The Cure Bowl, whatever. Western Kentucky and Georgia State.
What are they curing?
I don't know, man.
Give me Georgia State. Georgia State's sneaky this year. I think both these teams are 6-6, if I recall, or 6-5. But Georgia State has played actually a pretty tough schedule. Give me Georgia State.
All right. Las Vegas Bowl, Boise State and Oregon.
Ooh,
Decent game for that early.
give me Boise State. Oregon's got coaching turmoil. I'm going Boise State.
I'm surprised Boise State's even bowl eligible. I think Oregon whips them pretty good.
Wow, Boise State's like 10-2.
They shouldn't be. New Mexico Bowl, Marshall and Colorado State.
I'd like to pick Marshall because they played us tough, but Colorado State's not a bad team. Mike Bobo's doing a good job out there. They'd be in the Group of 5 playoff if it happened.
Camellia Bowl, Middle Tennessee and Arkansas State.
Ooh. Give me Arkansas State. Yeah. Lock that one in.
Give me 1 second because this next one is not the official name of this bowl, and I want to give it the respect it's due. December 19th, Akron and Florida Atlantic are playing in the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. I swear to God, that's the
Give
name
me
of it.
Florida Atlantic.
Dude, the lane train.
I'm on the
man.
lane train.
Yeah.
The lane train. You gotta go lane train. Sorry about it.
He's not coming to Tennessee, so I hate him again. So, all right, December 20th.
Still the best follow on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he's good. December 20th, Frisco Bowl, Southern Methodist or SMU against Louisiana Tech. Let's go with that.
Give me Louisiana Tech. More coaching turmoil. I don't think these teams with coaching transitions ever work out well. Chad Morris left for Arkansas. Louisiana Tech wins that one.
I'm not sure he's going to do well at Arkansas either.
I think he's going to do fine. I think he'll be okay.
I think that is a shitty job.
I think it's a shitty job. I think that they should be the 8-4 platform with us. I think that's where they should shoot for.
Yeah, that's fair. The Gasparilla Bowl, Temple versus FIU.
Butch Davis. I gotta go Temple. Screw Butch Davis.
December 22nd, Bahamas Bowl, the two luckiest teams in the country, UAB and Ohio.
Give me Ohio. I have no reason behind that one. I think both these teams are pretty equal, but I'm going with Ohio. They're going to thaw out in the Bahamas. They're going to win that one.
The 22nd, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Central Michigan and Wyoming.
Well, give me the Chippewas. Wyoming is super overhyped just because of Josh Allen, who's super overhyped. Yeah, Chippewas from Central Michigan win that one.
The 23rd, the Birmingham Bowl, Texas Tech and South Florida. That's a fun game, I think.
Give me the Bulls. I would assume Quentin Flowers plays that game. He doesn't have the luxury of not playing. So give me the Bulls. I think South Florida wins that game. Should be a high-scoring game. That'd be a good one.
Yeah. 23rd, Armed Forces Bowl, San Diego State versus Army.
Wow. There might be 1,000 yards rushing in that game.
Did you watch the Army-Navy game?
San Diego. I did,
Yeah,
of course. That was a real good game.
Yeah. Army and camo, though. Nobody suspected it.
My lock of the week won that one.
Yeah.
By default. San Diego State. The running back's really good. Army's really good, too. I'm not going to... Don't sleep on Army, but I think San Diego State wins this one.
$1.23, the Dollar General Bowl, the best bargain in bowls. Toledo and Appalachian State.
Gosh. I'd like to pick Appalachian State, but Toledo's better than them.
Yeah.
So, Toledo.
24th, the Hawaii Bowl, Houston and Fresno State.
Fresno State. Jeff Tedford resurgence. He's got them playing well. Their 2 losses are to like Washington and Washington State or something like that. They're actually pretty good.
Let's see. The 26th, the Heart of Dallas Bowl, Utah versus West Virginia.
Give me West Virginia, much to Mark Armstrong's chagrin.
26th, the Quick Lane Bowl, Duke and Northern Illinois.
NIU.
Yeah, I hope so.
Give me NIU over Duke. Yeah.
26th, Cactus Bowl, Kansas State and UCLA.
Kansas State, coaching turmoil. Josh Rosen, who knows if he's going to play. Bill Snyder is like 97 years old, and he's still coaching and coming back next year. Kansas State.
But what if Chip's already implemented the offense by then?
That'd be great if Chip Kelly coached a bowl game. I'd change my pick.
27th, Independence Bowl, Florida State somehow in a bowl game, and Southern Miss.
Florida State schedules their way into a bowl game. Give me Southern Miss. Coaching turmoil. Jimbo's gone. Florida State does not care to be in this game. Southern Miss is going to be super hyped. Yeah, Southern Miss.
27th, Pinstripe Bowl, Iowa and Boston College in the game that no one cares about.
Boston College just handed that running back 75 times that game, and they'll win.
27th,
he's good.
The Foster Farms Bowl, Purdue versus Arizona.
Arizona, Khalil Tate. I like Purdue and I like Braum, but I like Tate better. He's good.
27th, Texas Bowl, Texas versus Missouri.
I'm going to go Missouri. They started playing well at the end of the year.
Yeah. So Texas isn't back? Is that what you're saying?
Texas is not back. No, Texas is about as back as Miami is.
28th, the Military Bowl, Navy and Virginia.
Oh, Navy. Navy's going to win that one.
28th, the one I'm bitter about, the Camping World Bowl, Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech.
That stings.
That would have been a fun game.
Oklahoma State wins this game. That would have been a great game. That would have been a great game to see. Oklahoma State's offense is too good. Virginia Tech is not as good as Oklahoma State. Sorry 28th,
the Alamo Bowl, TCU and Stanford.
Bryce Love wins this game by himself.
Fair enough.
They've struggling
lately. Is he
playing? Bryce Love? Yeah, I'm sure he's playing.
28th, the Holiday Bowl, Michigan State and Washington State.
Washington State, go on the Dustin Big Ten sucks train. Add me to that.
I don't know.
Washington
they're known for defense, but I don't think they can stop them.
Both these teams are 9-3. That was kind of sneaky. I didn't expect that.
29th, the Belk Bowl, Wake Forest, okay, versus Texas A&M. Another game I would have taken.
Wake Forest beats Texas A&M. Upset special here. The public is like 95% on Texas A&M. Do not sleep on Wake Forest in this game.
Coaching again.
Texas A&M coaching turmoil. Exactly. And Wake Forest is a better coach team. Give me Wake Forest.
Right, another 29th, the Sun Bowl, North Carolina State versus Arizona State.
Oh, Pac wins this game. It'll be a high-scoring game. Pac wins by I would say 12, 14.
Arizona State's defense is ranked like 101st or 104th or something like that. So it should be a slaughter.
It should be a fun one to watch. Their offense is actually okay. Yeah, I don't think we win, and we should cruise in this one.
29th, the Arizona Bowl, Utah State and New Mexico State.
New Mexico State, the Aggies, first ever bowl game. I think it is, or first game in like 75 years. Give me New Mexico State.
29th, a good game, I think. The Cotton Bowl, Southern Cal and Ohio State.
That is a good game. I'm going to say Ohio State. I think Ohio State's defense is playoff caliber. Or at least their lines are playoff caliber. Give me Ohio State.
I'll take USC just because Ohio State's going to be upset that they're even there. You know,
that could be a factor. Yeah, it's true.
The 30th, the Tax Slayer Bowl, Louisville versus Mississippi State.
Does Lamar Jackson's playing that game, right? He's got to. No, maybe he doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know why he would.
Well, Mississippi State doesn't have their quarterback either.
Or their coach.
Oh, coaching turmoil. Give me Louisville. Yeah.
30th, Liberty Bowl, Iowa State versus Memphis.
Memphis, easy.
30th, Fiesta Bowl, Penn State versus Washington.
Oh. I'm going to go Washington. I think Saquon Barkley's really good, but I would suspect he doesn't play.
Yeah, they dived. I mean, they had a bad ending to the season too.
Yeah, they really tore off. They fell off, and they lost their offensive coordinator, who I give a lot of credit for that game, for those games. Give me Washington.
Orange Bowl, Miami versus Wisconsin.
Oh, the fraud game. There's a lot of fraud in this game. Give me Wisconsin. Right. I think Miami's been overrated all year.
The Outback Bowl. It's baffling that this team ended up here, but Michigan and South Carolina. South Carolina has a January 1st game.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
Give me South Carolina. I think Michigan's trash.
Dude,
Big Ten
Harbaugh's so overrated.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, they've not finished above fourth in the division since he came.
Yeah, they're not great.
I mean, that's Butch Jones caliber. So, Peach Bowl, Auburn and Central Florida.
I got UCF. I think this one's going to be interesting.
I think Auburn beats.
I think this could be one where
scores, man.
This, I can see it because Scott Frost is gone, and he's taking the entire staff with him.
He's coaching the game, though,
so that
isn't
would
he?
be I think they were going to let him. I don't know if he is.
Pretty sure.
That'd be great if he is. I think that'd be awesome. I would still think I'm going Central Florida. I want to see Central Florida win. I think Auburn's kind of in that. I don't want to play in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
Let alone get pissed on by Central Florida.
All right. The Citrus Bowl, Notre Dame and Matt Canada's Bayou Bengals.
Ooh, Matt Canada's still at the Bayou Bengals. I'm surprised. Give me Notre Dame.
Rose Bowl, Oklahoma and Georgia.
The Fighting Baker Mayfields. Give them to me.
Picked these last week. And Sugar Bowl, Clemson and Bama.
Clemson.
Yeah. We're totally opposite in the playoff.
Yep.
Anyway, that was just a lot of filler.
That was
riveting
podcasting. We got to add time to sell, people.
Yeah. So
that's all I got. Let's get out of here before this gets too long.
Fair enough.
Right.
Don't be surprised when Greensboro plays this close. That's all I got. Go Pack.
Go Pack.